Welcome to a video tutorial on the Payroll Variance Report in PayPak Professional 4.0. The Payroll Variance Report is used to report differences between two batches or even two sets of batches. Use it to find out if employees were paid differently in one batch compared to another. You can compare gross pay, taxes, deductions, and net pay. So let's sign in and show you how it works. We go to Reports and choose Standard Reports. Once our reports are loaded, we then search for variance. That's what I'm going to use here. And up comes the screen. At the top of the screen, there's a start date we're selecting from and the ending date we're selecting to. This is to capture the batches for you to select from. Now by default it starts from the first day of the previous month and it ends on the last day of the current month. You can change these dates to suit the batches that you wish to compare. Under this we have a style list where you can choose the style of the report. You can compare the quantity and the amount. You can compare the quantity only, or you can compare the amounts only. Then we have a spelling option here. You can choose, some people prefer to have the net pay spelled with 2 T's. Some prefer to have it spelled with 1 T. Okay, so you can choose whichever you prefer. Let's put it to the 2 T's here. Next, you have a caption for period 1 and a caption for period 2. Now, period 1 could be the date of a particular batch. Period 2 could be the date of another batch. It could also be period 1 may be a date for 3 or 4 batches. Let's say you have particular sites. They all do their payroll on the same day of the week. And you've got some sites, say 6 sites. You may wish to compare the 6 batches for those sites for 1 week as opposed to the total for the same sites for the following week or the previous week, as the case may be. You can leave this alone, or you can type something in just to show you by default how it works. Once I've got my dates in, I click on the batches button and that will display the batches in this time period. Now I would first pick the batch for period 1. I've got here 3 batches. These are the 2 I'm interested in. One for the 7th of April and one for the 14th of April. So let me tick this as period 1 batch. And automatically when I tick this, you'll see that the date for that batch is listed in here. Now if I ticked another date, it would then it shows that date at the top, 7th there. Now if I come here and I want to compare these two, I've got the 7th to the 14th. Okay, I can come here and change these dates if I wanted to. These, because it's really not a date, it's a description. It can be text as well. I could change these however I wish to. So I've got one batch for the 7th, which I want to compare and see what happened the following week, the 14th. I could have also, as I mentioned earlier, I could have also, if there were more batches in this list, I could have picked more than one batch for period 1 and more than one batch for period 2. Okay, so once I've got the batches that I want, I now click on the display button and this lists the information for the period. It's in the grid, all of the columns, and you would see the quantity for period 1. Let's look at John Hill. This is gross pay. 40 hours in period 1. In period 2, his quantity was 38 hours. So he worked 2 hours less. You've got the period 1 amount of money. This is $374. The period 2 amount of money is $355.30. So the quantity variance is 2. which is the 40 minus the 38, and the amount variance is minus 18.70, which is 374 down, going down to 355 is reduced by this amount here. Now if this was more, if this had been maybe 394 in the period 2, you would see a positive $20 here. And that's basically how it works. It gives you the variance right away. Some customers wish to check the hours that employees work. Some customers will use this report to verify that people are not being paid more than they should have been paid. You can check for mistakes or errors or whatever reason that you need to do a comparison for. Let's look at the printouts now. There is a quantity and amount report, and by the way, you can also type a comment in here. No water on Wednesday. So I could put a note in there. There was no water on Wednesday. Maybe that's why he wasn't able to work the same number of hours as he was the previous week. I can now print this report. Let's go print, preview, and there it is. You've got the name of the employee, the types of pay that he worked, the quantity and amount for the first week, the 7th of April, and the quantity and amount for the second week, the 14th of April. Then you've got your variance here. This has gone down. And there's the note, the comment which I entered, no water on Wednesday, which is optional. Janelle Smith, she had double time in the first week, but there was no double time for her in the second week. And note please that any entries which are the same are excluded from this report. It only gives you the differences, what the variances are. So you can focus on what the differences are. So she may have worked for regular pay. If it's the same, it wouldn't appear here. So you've got your gross, the taxes, employer tax, and the net pay amounts. Michael Smith, he actually worked for more. He had 38 hours in the first week, about 40 hours in the second week, so he's 2 hours more. Okay. Now let's look at the various different reports. This report, as I said, is the quantity and the amount. Let's have a look at the other one. You can look at the quantity only. Let's print that. Preview. There you go. You see the quantities only. If you don't need to look, if you're not interested in the amounts of money, you just want to look at the difference in hours, this is the one for you. Finally, we've got the amount only. And if you print that, preview, you'll see the dollar values only. The dollar figures what the person was actually paid. So this is the amount from the 7th. This is the amount from the 14th. And it's down by $18.70. Okay. So that's your payroll variance report. That's the 3 styles that you can have. You can also do customized styles for you. If you wish to have something looking a little different, we can do that for you as well. The settings button will save the style that you prefer to use and your spelling preference for the columns. It says here net pay. If I take this one, it will say net. Okay, N-E-T with 1 T. So just to recap, the buttons at the bottom, you've got your batches that will display the batches which you wish to select from. The display will display the differences between the selected batches. The print will print the report. The new will clear the screen. The settings button will save these options here. The style and the spelling options. Reset will clear those settings and reset them. The video will take you to the online video which you're presently watching, which explains how the screen works, and the exit will close the screen. So there you are. Thank you for watching, and do look out for our next video tutorial from PayPak Professional 4.0. Thank you and goodbye.